Hello, I'm Noah. I took Art 1200 in fall semester of 2025, and this is my self-reflection video on it. My teacher was Rod White. There were a lot of different topics we went over this semester, but I think by far the most helpful one was going over styles, different paragraph, character, and object styles. I feel like I was always doing things the hard way in InDesign before that and manually, you know, just selecting everything and customizing everything the way I wanted. And I feel like doing it in the styles way allows you to customize it fully however you want, but it's also just more compatible with the design. And it's so much easier, especially when you're making a large spread, to apply that style over multiple bodies of text. That was definitely the most helpful. The project that I ended up enjoying the most working on, and also the project that I think is the most successful project I did this semester, would be the Styles for Efficiency project. This is where we had to design a book cover and then also 3 pages of a book and design it in, the paragraph and character styles and be efficient with it. And then also, add our own personal flair and touches to make it look aesthetically pleasing. I chose the book Frankenstein, which is a book I had just read and a movie I had just seen, so it's fresh on my mind. And I wanted to do this cool little design on the front cover with a lightning bolt. And I feel like Grog really taught me how to design that and do it in a, very efficient and also pleasing looking way. So that was by far the most fun assignment I had doing. I feel like it taught me a lot about InDesign, the program, and taught me the importance of styles. And I had a lot of fun coming up with the different, styles that I wanted to put in, and then also the glyphs and the character styles. Varog taught me how to do a really cool drop cap on just the first letter of the chapter, so not every paragraph, but this drop cap would just be applied to the very first character of the chapter. And that was a lot of fun. I feel like we were kind of figuring it out together, and yeah, she showed me how to do it, and it's something I will probably do in the future, to be honest. I don't really feel like there was a topic that was the least helpful this semester. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but I do feel like everything we did was super important and taught me a lot about the program. I will say if there's a subject this could also go, with my question about what I would have done differently, but I think that the topic I struggled with the most was probably vector art. I don't feel like I made a lot of interesting vector art this semester, and I would have liked to have spent more time with that because I think some of the students in the class were able to create some very impressive things with the vector art. It was just something that I had a hard time with, and I could have spent more time on, and I probably should have asked for more help when I was struggling in those instances, especially the pen tool, that dang pen tool. If I were to do things differently in another semester, I would look at some of those topics that I wouldn't say are unhelpful, but I would say that I'm struggling with, and I would spend more time on those topics instead of just the things I feel very confident in. Moving forward, I plan on taking either typography and layout or photography, or maybe both of them. That is my plan for spring 2026 semester. I learned Photoshop and InDesign this semester, and I feel like taking those classes would be a pretty good follow-up to what I just learned. I feel like I'm already starting to apply the things I learned in InDesign in some of the projects I'm working on right now. I've always wanted to create a zine, and so I was initially doing it in Photoshop, but after taking Photoshop and InDesign this semester, I still love Photoshop, but I think that InDesign is a much more compatible program for what I want to create. So like zines and comic book layouts, stuff that I would use as an illustrator, I feel like I'm going to be able to complete in InDesign. So there's a lot of helpful things I felt like I learned this semester that I'm already applying and I can see myself applying forward as an illustrator.